Okay, so today when we look at the story of Vitthala, Vitthala is a form of Krishna or Vishnu, you can consider, mainly worshipped in central Bharatam and also in Dakshina Bharatam. The so many abhangs that we listen to today is all in praise of Vitthala Bhagavan. Now, Vitthala is mainly worshipped in the Bhakti tradition. That's how you have so many saints who are there: Namdev, Tukaram, Jnaneshwar, Janabai, Muktabai, and so on. The story of how Vitthala comes to Pandaripuram or Pandharpuram of Maharashtra, as the story goes, there was a saint or a bhakta called Pundalika. It seems that his heart that was there, that is the love that he had for people and for everyone around him, including his parents, was so much that he would never refuse anyone. It seems he used to help everyone. And one fine day, what happened is, in fact, now Pundalika was known for this, but before that, his, you can say, like the previous story of Pundalika, like somewhat similar to Valmiki from the Ramayana reference, just as Valmiki was a dacoit or so-called Ratnakara, similarly this Pundalika also previously was a goon kind of a thing, a local robber or so, who used to harass people, including his own parents. One fine day, what happens is, Pundalika, he meets a saint also, and with the help of that sage he gets initiated into Bhakti Margam. That's how Pundalika starts his spiritual practices also. But still, what happened is, he could not control his mind at all. Now it is not easy, right, to change your nature. All these for so many years also you were harassing people and so on. One fine day, to change your ways, it becomes very, very difficult. That's when again he goes to his guru, and that saint, now he tells that you go and serve your parents. If you do that, all other things will automatically fall in place. And you do that with full unconditional love, surrender, with your full heart, you will definitely attain peace. Pundalika does this, and he begins to serve his parents also. Every need of his parents, he looked after them, he nursed them, they were old. And thus what happened is, he learnt the art of bhakti. And this is when it seems that Lord Vitthala comes looking for him. So through the story of Pundalika, Valmiki and so on, the lesson that we get to learn is, not everyone is born perfect or not everyone is born good, right? But there is a turning point that comes in, like it happened in the case of Pundalika, Valmiki and so on. Making the best of it, we can definitely change. That's when finally this Pundalika, he finds the city of Pandharipuram. His father was Janudeva and mother was Satyavati. They used to live in a forest. Now this Pundalika who was there, he gets married also. His previous story, used to ill-treat his parents. That's when what happens is, one fine day they set out to go on a pilgrimage. The parents of Pundalika go on a pilgrimage to Kashi, and while they were away, she also decides to go away, and she and her husband also, they join the group of pilgrims who were there. Now they used to, this is the previous story, both the Pundalika and his wife, they went on a horseback it seems, whereas the old parents were there, they walked the distance. And those poor parents of Pundalika, they were troubled a lot by Pundalika, his wife and so on. Finally, that sage who transformed Pundalika, he was called as Kukuta Swami. And what happens is, while they all reached that ashrama, Pundalika, his wife, parents, all of them, they settled down in that ashrama of Kukuta Swami. And Pundalika, everyone was tired, everyone slept except for Pundalika. He got a very bad dream, it seems, wherein young women also, they were dressed in dirty clothes, and they were doing different seva in the ashramam. And finally, Pundalika, he didn't know what to do. And he threw himself, that is, he surrendered at their feet also. In the dream only, it seems that he felt they were actually there. And when he woke up, he saw that those women who were dressed in dirty clothes also, they came out dressed in beautiful clean clothes, and they passed near Pundalika, it seems, and suddenly they vanished. Pundalika gets up and he throws himself at their feet. They were none but the 7 rivers who were there, Ganga, Yamuna and so on. And how their clothes became dirty is due to the sins of people who had taken bath in those rivers, it seems. And Further, Pundalika questions them, is it only due to the sins that are there? That's when those 7 rivers were there. They tell that it is because of the ill treatment that you are doing to your parents. You are the greatest sinner. That's the reason our clothes are becoming more dirty. This is how the change took place in Pundalika. And now what happens is they all return. The parents return from the pilgrimage. Pundalika also returns. Now the horse ride is also done by the parents of Pundalika. And Pundalika and his wife, they walk their distance, lot of sevas done to their parents and so on. So all this was the previous story. Now finally here what happens is, later once Krishna, the king of Dwaraka, he was feeling very lonely also, and he was reminded of his early days in Mathurapuri. He remembered the cowherd boys, Radharani and so on. Now Radharani was no longer with him during that time physically, but still he remembered her, and through his divine powers it seems that Krishna brought Radharani beside him. That's when just Rukmini Devi entered the room, and she was shocked to see Radha there. And Radha, she did not pay her respect to Rukmini because it was just bought through the divine powers of Krishna. And Rukmini Devi, she left Dwaraka in anger, it seems, and she goes to this Dandirvanam forest, which is in today's Maharashtra. Krishna did not know where Rukmini Devi had gone away. He goes in search of Rukmini. First goes to Mathura, then he goes to Gokulam. He asks the Gopikas, Gopas, everyone. Nobody was there. Finally, he goes to Govardhana Parvatam. There also he could not find Rukmini Devi. Finally, he reaches Bhima Nadi in Maharashtra. That is in today's Deccan also, Deccan plateau that we call. Finally, he enters. Now he had a few companions with him, few of his friends who had joined him. But while he enters this Dandirvanam forest, he enters all alone. Wherein finally Krishna, what he does was he finds Rukmini and somehow he calms her and so on, and both of them they reach Pundalika's ashrama. By that time what happens was Pundalika was busy attending his parents. Krishna had come to see him, but he says that you please wait there, let me finish serving my parents, then I will come. However, he threw a brick outside, that is nothing but the wheat that we call in Marathi language, and he tells Krishna that you please stand there on this wheat while I serve the Lord, while I serve my parents. You stand there, I will come there later. Krishna was very much satisfied and he stood there. And when Pundalika, he comes out and he begs for pardon, saying that it has caused a lot of delay. Lord Krishna, he was not at all sad. He was very much happy seeing the love and affection that Pundalika had for his parents. And that's when Lord Krishna tells him that from today onwards you will worship me as Vithoba, or the Lord of Vitthala, who stood on this brick, and Pandarapuram will become a very very holy pilgrimage spot that is there with lot of temples and so on. So that's the reason why today also if you see Vitthala and Rukmini Devi, Rakumai, they are not together in Pandarapuram. They have separate shrines that are there due to the story of Krishna and Rukmini. And this is how the temple of Vitthala comes there in Pandaripuram.